Hi, welcome to Digital Learning. I'm Connie Kolosey, Director of Media, Text, and Digital Learning. And I have with me today Kelly Dorsey,
Hi.
who is a Technology Integration Coordinator for the Office of Digital Learning. And in our last show, we were talking about some of the new features in Smart Notebook. And we wanted to continue that because there's so much to show. And Kelly, what are you going to show us today?
So just again, continuing with some of the new features in 16.1, and specifically something called Smart Lab. So let's just get to it. So if I open up my Smart Notebook software, on the left-hand side, there's a tab that looks like a little puzzle piece. And so in the previous show, we showed how to add images straight from the web that were already Creative Commons free use, as well as to insert some YouTube videos and without the hassle of those pesky ads. So there's a few other things that you can do in here. We're not going to have time to go over this today, but if you are a math teacher, check out the Smart Blocks as well as the GeoGebra. There's some nice new features in there. And specifically what I want to talk about today is something called Smart Lab. So Smart Lab looks like a little robot. And if I click Create an Activity, you're going to notice that what pops up is a bunch of different activities that you can use in your lesson. So these are have a very game-based feel. They're very engaging for students. So you've got lots of different things. Super Sort, and it gives a quick description of what that activity is used for. So this is students sort items into two groups. You have something called Shout It Out, Rank Order, lots of different activities, a matching, a label activity, a test review type of a game called Speed Up. So there's lots of different activities, and these are most of these are new in version 16.1. So if I wanted to do something like Super Sort, I would simply click, I can preview the activity, or I can click Add this activity. You can choose a template and theme. I'm just going to stick with the Sort and Space Moon and click Next. And this is a sorting activity, so I would choose my two categories and kind of give them a name. So I would just click in here, and let's say I'm continuing having my students sort between living and non-living things. I would label my two categories, and then it tells me that I can add up to 10 items in here. So some living things.
Frogs, trees.
Frogs.
Humans. Dogs. I feel like I'm playing categories.
Dogs. All right, that's enough. And can we think of some non-living things?
A house, a car, a desk, a pencil.
Great, wow. You must be good at categories. Okay, so I would just type them in, click Next. Each activity allows you to choose some different game components. These are optional, but you can have things like a timer, a buzzer, dice, a spinning wheel, a hat pick. So the wheel and the hat pick are nice for if you wanted to randomly select your students. You could set something like this up to have a random student name pop up, and this can also be saved so that you don't have to make that list each time you add an activity.
And so I'm thinking of my Marzano rubric all of a sudden, and the component of monitoring student responses. And this would be a great way to score well on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you'll notice that you click that took what, maybe 2 minutes to create an activity. And then you can just, in this particular one, you would just drag and drop. If it was correct, it would accept it. If it was incorrect, it would reject it. And what I really like about these is, again, they're quick and easy to make, but I've also seen teachers, which I think is really smart, I've seen teachers have students be the one to create these different activities. So, not only does that get the student creating a product, which is really higher level thinking, higher order type activities, but they get really motivated to give each other their different activities, breaking up the teacher. I've seen teachers break up into chunks and have the students each make an activity, and then kind of have as a technology center to practice the different things that they're learning in class. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, what a great way to engage our students and using technology to do it.
Absolutely. And so there's lots of different options in the Smart Lab. The other one that I kind of want to feature today is something called Shout It Out. So this is nice when students have devices. So maybe if you're in the lab for that day, or students have, you know, a mobile laptop lab, this is a nice, it's slightly different than the rest of these activities, so I just kind of want to show it.
Will it work on iPads?
Yes.
Will it work on Kindles?
Yes. It'll work on any device that connects to the internet.
Okay.
So the first time you create one, you have to sign in with your Office 365 account. But once you do this once, you don't have to do it again. But you'll just kind of sign in to Office 365. And when we use Office 365, we always want to choose Work Account. All right. So now, there's lots of options, but just for time purposes, I'm just going to kind of leave it as is. I opened up Shout It Out. I'm going to click, you have, so Shout It Out, the concept behind it is you are having students post responses to whatever you ask them. So, and they kind of post up almost like a digital bulletin board, and they can be moved around and arranged. This is great for brainstorming and, you know, just different, you can have it anonymous or require student names. So if I just choose to arrange randomly and click Next, I can have students, when I ask students a question, I can have them answer with text or even provide images as answers using their mobile device. I can choose how many times I want a student to respond. And again, I can display student names to be kind of posted up, or I can turn that off. I would just click Next. Again, I can choose one of these game components to add, click Finish. And then you can't really, we're not going to really be able to do it right now, but what you're going to see is it's very simple. The students, you would just direct the students to go to classlab.com, enter this code, and you can just ask the students a question. They can respond on their devices, and what will happen is it'll post their devices up here, again, anonymously or student name, and they can be sorted or, you know, into different, it's just a way to kind of have all, the reason I like this is because it's a nice way to have all students actively engaged and actively participating at one time.
So the child that might not feel comfortable speaking out in class
Absolutely.
might feel a little insecure about that.
Absolutely. And you can ask a question and have all students answering and being actively engaged and posting up their answers without the fear of their name being displayed. And then you can kind of talk about it as a whole, you know, how did we do, or what are we thinking right now? Or you can say to your class, you know, most of us are on the right track here, and students, again, they can answer without having to you know.
Well, you said something really critical. You know, if we're asking questions, we really want every single student to be answering that question. And so we need a way to gather that information.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that what I like about these recent changes in Smart 16.1 is that they're kind of lending themselves to just that, instead of back in the day where one student would answer the question or go up to the board, some of these new features are allowing all students to be actively engaged and participating. So I think that's key. So.
All right, it looks like most of this stuff is game-based. What are some other fun games
So we
have
have rank order, allows you to arrange items in order. Flip out would be kind of like a matching activity, fill in the blanks. And again, there's really engaging themes. So this one right here for Match 'em Up, the kids love, if they get it wrong, the dragon actually breathes fire on the knight, and not very good things happen, but it's kind of fun. Label reveal allows you to put an image into Notebook and create your own labels. And then label something, and students can, again, create this as well, which I think is really kind of takes it to that next level.
So this is a teacher able to just totally customize all of these features with the content that they're trying to get the kids to put across.
Absolutely, and it doesn't take too long. You saw how quick we kind of did that, so that's one of the things I like best about it.
All right, and so which feature is this again on the?
So this is when you open up your Smart Notebook software. This is, if you just take a look at the left-hand side where you know that your tabs are, there's a tab that looks like a little puzzle piece.
Okay.
And when you click that, this will come up. And so again, there's lots of new, there's the image and the YouTube and the Smart Lab, which we just looked at. I mentioned Smart Blocks and GeoGebra for math teachers. Lesson Recorder is nice because Lesson Recorder is very easy. You just click it, and let me just show you because it just takes a second. You click Lesson Recorder, and you click New Recording, and as a teacher, anything that it records what you're writing or doing on the screen as well as your voice. So you can record a lesson.
So when little Johnny's absent and comes in and says, "What did I miss?" Say, "Well, here you go."
Absolutely, absolutely. So it'll record and save that page, whatever you say and whatever you do. So you're doing a particularly important, concept or problem, and you have some students absent, and you recorded it, or even to just go back later as a review, maybe in a technology center.
Of course, this isn't what we're talking about today, but should the student have a class notebook in Office 365, it could be posted there.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. So, yeah, so that's the Lesson Recorder feature. Which
some people may look at their Smart Notebook software and say, "I'm not seeing this," and that's because they don't have Smart 16.
Correct.
And so let's talk once more time about what they do if they need Smart 16.
Okay, so when you, if you kind of take the first thing I kind of recommend is just taking a look at your desktop and seeing which version of Smart you have. So I can see here that I have Smart Notebook 16. It may say 15, it may say 11, but you'll want to kind of that's a good place to start to see what version you have. Then to kind of further see if you open it up, now you'll notice I have 16.1. We want to be on 16.1. That's where a lot of these new features you're going to have access to. So if I go to the Help tab, another way that you can see what exact version you have is by clicking Help, About Smart Notebook, going over to Technical Support, and now I can see exactly that I have version 16.1.8. So if you see anything less than 16.1, definitely we recommend putting a tech ticket in and asking that your technology coordinator or your media specialist, whoever the tech coord at your school is, they can help you get updated to the latest version. And then you'll have access to all of the new stuff.
Well, these are exciting resources, and these resources are all provided by the Pinellas referendum supporting technology, and it's providing the smart hardware, the smart software, and even professional development in smart. All right, well, thank you for showing this. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to have you come back and show another exciting interactive.